Hello everyone, welcome back to Amy's Bookshelf. It was my birthday on the 12th of May. It is now the 18th of May, so almost a week ago. And I was very fortunate to get about £35 worth of book vouchers from various friends. And I also have, I've just got it up, £29 worth of Waterstones vouchers. So I thought I would treat myself and share with you all my book shopping. Here is my laptop, and just talk you through the options that I am going to look at and the books I want to buy, and yeah, we'll see what I order, and then at the end of this video will hopefully be me receiving those books in the post. So to start off with, I got a £25 book voucher to Queer Lit, which is a queer bookshop in Manchester, and it's from my lovely friends Jazz and Ben. And not only did they gift me the voucher, but they also wrote me a list of recs. So I think there are 5. So I'm definitely going to choose some from that list, and then maybe some of my own as well. So I'll talk you through the list, put a screenshot up here maybe if they're okay with me doing that, because they were so lovely. I mean, I love being recommended books anyway, but I feel like Jazz and Ben know my book tastes very well. They know what I like and what I don't like, and so I feel like the recs list is going to be very good. So I'm definitely going to choose some from that list. And then I have some other books that I have just been meaning to buy, and then I'm just going to have a browse and see what's on there, because I've got whatever 35 plus £29 is, £64 to spend. So quite a lot of money. So yeah, hopefully I'll get a few books. Okay, so I'm going to start, I don't know if you can actually see my laptop just about. I'm going to start with the Queer Lit books. So one I know I've wanted to buy for ages, but I'm not sure whether I want to because I think it's still in hardback, and that is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. This has been recommended to me a lot because I don't really like fantasy, and this is a fantasy book. It's actually described as a high fantasy book, but it's really cozy. I can't remember the plot really, apart from the fact I think maybe there's like some form of creature, like an orc maybe, that runs a coffee shop, or it's something along those lines, but it's like really cozy, really like fantasy based but not complicated, and it just sounds like a lot of fun, like a hug in a book kind of vibe. So I really want to buy that, but I'm not going to commit to that yet because it's still in hardback and I really don't like hardbacks. So we'll see how the rest of the browsing goes before I decide whether I want to get a copy. But moving on to Jazz and Ben's list. So there are 5 on here. First on the list is Yerba Buena by Nina LaCour. Now, if you haven't heard me talk about Nina LaCour, then I'll be shocked because I adore her. I've read 2 of her books, Everything Leads to You and We Are Okay, and both of them I really loved. Both of them are sapphic and they are emotional and compelling, and I just adored both of them. So I'm always going to buy more Nina LaCour books. And this one, Jazz has described as adult romance vibe, very Amy. It is very Amy. I love romance, but sometimes YA romance is just, it's not what I want. I know you love Nina LaCour, and this is her debut adult novel. That sounds beautiful, and follows 2 women on a star-crossed journey towards one another. I mean, I just am really a sucker for romance, so I feel like this definitely ticks my box. I'm just going to look at it on Queer Lit and see how much it is. Oh, the cover is amazing as well. Look at that. So I don't know why I'm holding my laptop up. I'll just put a copy here. God, Amy. It's very like minimalist though, like block colours. Really appreciate that. Again, it is in hardback. Jasmine, I don't like hardbacks, so I'm going to put that on the back burner again for now. Okay, next on the list is Queer Heroes of Myth and Legend, and this again is from Jazz, and she has described it as, this is a bit different, but I saw this on Queer Lit's website and thought of you as I know you've been enjoying Stephen Fry's Mythos series lately. I have, great series. I thought you might be interested in reading about some queer myths, gods and legends from around the world. I mean, yeah, why wouldn't I? So this is by Dan Jones, who I've not heard of, and I've actually not heard of this book either. Oh, and again, great cover. Put it up here. Again, it's a hardback. That does kind of sound like more of a hardback book though. I don't know why, but it does. This is described as hidden in the margins of history books, classical literature and thousands of years of stories, myths and legends through to contemporary literature, TV and film. There is a diverse and otherworldly super community of queer heroes to discover, learn from and celebrate. Be captivated by stories of forbidden love like Patroclus and Achilles, as we all know from the Song of Achilles, Join the cult of Antinotus, inspiration for Oscar Wilde. Get down with the pansexual god set in Egyptian myth and fall for Zimbabwe's trans god Maui. I mean, it sounds definitely like a bit of me. Again though, back burner for now. Let's move on to Ben's Rex. So Ben's first one is The End of Eddie by Eduardo Luis, translated from French by Michael Lucy. Always here for a translation. Love that. Also, Ben's descriptions are fantastic. Jazz, I love you, but Ben's descriptions are, yeah, I love them. It's giving stories about humanity, low-key giving a Little Life vibes, excellent, but shorter and Frencher, overall giving Amy vibes. I did nearly recommend a book called The Twin because of the name and the fact it had a cow on the cover, but Queerlit didn't have it. R.I.P. Ben. In brackets, I haven't read it to be clear. So just to dissect that, I am a twin. I also love cows, so that is why Ben has added all of that to the description. But I'm going to look up what The End of Eddie is actually about, and then we will decide whether I want to buy it. So the description on Queerlit is, it is an extraordinary portrait of escaping from an unbearable childhood inspired by the author's own. Written with an openness and compassionate intelligence, ultimately it asks how we can create our own freedom. Yeah, I mean, that sounds good. It's giving A Little Life vibes, it's giving Shuggy Bane vibes, it's giving that other book that I can't remember the name of vibes. Quite dark, but probably quite emotional and I imagine profound. So I enjoy that. Definitely something I would normally pick up. Again, I'm not going to commit until I've got to the end of the list, so we'll see. Right, Ben's next recs are Delilah Green Doesn't Care and Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail by Ashley Herring Blake. They've already told me about these and I'm already probably convinced that I will be buying them. I know I already recommended this via text from Ben, but honestly I really think you will like these books. So far I can only vouch for Astrid Parker, but the romance is adorable and the balance of romance and smut honestly rivals / might be better than Talia Hibbert. That's quite a statement. It's Casey McQuiston, but more trashy, question mark. I mean, I love Casey McQuiston. And I also love trash romance as well, so this does sound up my street. And I do feel, and I felt like this for a long time, I've just had a bit of a romance hole in my life. I don't read enough of it given how much I love it. So I'm going to commit. This is definitely the first one I'm going to commit to my basket. So I think Delilah Green is the first one. Yes, Bright Falls, number 1. Okay, committing to my basket, adding to cart. So the last one on the list is from Jazz and Ben, and it is The Magic Fish by Trung Le Nguyen. This one I've already know about. I think they mention it actually. I'll read out the description. I can see this on your want to read on Goodreads, and it's such a beautiful graphic novel about second-generation immigration struggling to come out to your parents and connect with them due to language. It has fairy tales interwoven and is a really stunning book. We both really loved it and feel you will appreciate the beautiful vibe and atmosphere. So let me look this up quickly and check to see how much it is. Graphic novels do tend to be a bit more expensive. Okay, it's not too bad. It is $11.69. I think that's okay for a graphic novel because some of them can really be pricey. So I'm going to commit to that as well. So that is 2, Delilah Green and The Magic Fish. That comes with £19 altogether. So there's still £6 of the voucher, but obviously if I go over a little bit, that's fine. So I feel like I can commit to one more. Will it be... I'm not going to buy a hardback. I've already said I don't want a hardback. I'm going to keep those recs on the back burner and have them some other time because I definitely want to read all of those books. I just don't want a hardback. So instead, let's have a browse of what they've got on there. I'm literally just going to go to the homepage and see what's on here. Actually, do you know what I'm going to do first of all? I'm going to go to my Goodreads want to read and see what I've got on there and then see if they've got it on Queerlit. Ooh, I do remember wanting to read this. So this is a book called House of Impossible Beauties by Joseph Cassara. And the description is a gritty and gorgeous debut that follows a cast of gay and transgender club kids navigating the Harlem ball scene of the 1980s and 1990s, inspired by the Real House of Extravaganza, made famous by the seminal documentary Paris is Burning. Okay, it sounds good, but then I feel like if I'm going to buy something kind of dark and gritty, I feel like I should get The End of Eddie because it was in the regs list. So let's see what else is on here. Oh, it's quite good actually. If you like scroll down, it's like it goes to a people also liked section, which I really appreciate because then it stops you having to dig through hundreds of books. Oh, this cover has caught my eye. It's called The Exhibitionist by Charlotte Mendelssohn. No, the blurb didn't tickle my fancy. Oh god, there's honestly too much choice. Ooh, do you know what actually? Jazz read a book quite recently that I added to my want to read because it sounded like a bit of me. And I'm pretty sure that was queer. So let me have a look. At Certain Points We Touch. Yes, and I think it's got a trans protagonist. And honestly, gorgeous title. Do they have it? They do. Also gorgeous cover. I'll put it here. It's by Lauren John Joseph. Ooh, signed copy for £9. Okay, it's 4 in the morning and our narrator is walking home from the club when they realise that it's February 29th, the birthday of the man who was something like their first love. Piecing together art, letters and memory, they set about trying to write the story of a doomed affair that first sparked and burned a decade ago. 10 years later, and our young narrator and a boy named Thomas James fall into bed with one another over the summer of their graduation. Their ensuing affair, with its violent animal intensity and its intoxicating and toxic power play, will initiate a dance of repulsion and attraction that will cross years, span continents, drag into countless victims, and culminate in terrible betrayal. At Certain Points We Touch is a story of first love and last rites conjured against a vivid backdrop of London, San Francisco and New York, a riotous, razor-sharp coming-of-age story that marks the arrival of an extraordinary new talent. I am sold. I'm going to get that. And also, Jazz was the one who got me onto that book, so that feels right spending this money on that. Okay, so they're the 3 I'm going to get from Queer Lit. So that is At Certain Points We Touch, The Magic Fish and Delilah Green Doesn't Care. And now we will move on to Waterstones. So like I said, I've got a £10 voucher for Waterstones I got from 2 of my friends, and then I also have £29 worth of points. I'm not necessarily going to spend them all, but I'm just going to see what's on here. And I firstly want to say that I have been meaning to buy the book 7 Days in June for forever, and I feel like this is more than a good opportunity to get it. So it's by Tia Williams, and I think it is also a romance actually. On the description, when Eva Mercy, a single mother and best-selling erotica writer, and the enigmatic award-winning novelist Shane Hall meet at a literary event in New York, sparks fly. But what no one knows is that 15 years earlier, teenage Eva and Shane spent 1 week together madly in love. While they may pretend to be strangers, they can't deny their chemistry. Over the next 7 days, amidst a steamy Brooklyn summer, Eva and Shane reconnect, but Eva is wary of the man who broke her heart and wants Shane out of the city so her life can return to normal. Before he disappears though, she needs a few questions answered. That sounds really good, and it's a romance, and I said I wanted to read more, so I'm going to add to basket. Okay, again, I'm going to just have a look on the homepage, see if there's anything that catches my eye. I do find websites way harder to navigate than just a bookshop. Like, just with a shelf in front of me, it's a lot easier to just look at all of the books. Websites, I just never really know where to go, and I feel like there's almost too much on them. And a lot I'm not interested in as well. Happy Place by Emily Henry is very tempting, but again, it's hardback and I do not want a hardback, so no for now. Ooh, I know. Mythology. There is a Medusa book. What was that one that Georgia recommended? There's a girl in my book club called Georgia, shout out Georgia, and when we read Ariadne for my book club, she was recommending a lot of other mythology books, and oh, Pandora's Jar, that was it, it wasn't Medusa. Excellent, and it's by Natalie Haynes, who wrote 1,000 Ships, which I loved. I read it, I think last year in 2022, and adored it. I mean, I love Greek mythology anyway, and then I loved this too because it was just so well written, just very beautiful, atmospheric, a great time. This is Pandora's Jar, Women in Greek Myths. I think it's not like one story. So, the description. The Greek myths are among the world's most important cultural building blocks, and they have been retold many times, but rarely do they focus on the remarkable women at the hearts of these ancient stories. Stories of gods and monsters are the mainstay of epic poetry and Greek tragedy, from Homer to Aeschylus, probably pronouncing that incorrectly, Sophocles and Euripides, from the Trojan War to Jason and the Argonauts. And still today, a wealth of novels, plays and films draw their inspiration from stories first told almost 3,000 years ago. but modern tellers of Greek myth have usually been men and have routinely shown little interest in telling women's stories, and when they do, those women are often painted as monstrous, vengeful, or just plain evil. But Pandora, the first woman who, according to legend, unloosed chaos upon the world, was not a villain, and even Medea and Phaedra have more nuanced stories than generations of retellings might indicate. Phaedra is Ariadne's sister, I know that from reading Ariadne. Now, in Pandora's Jar, Natalie Haynes, broadcaster, writer and passionate classicist, readdresses this imbalance. Taking Pandora and her jar, the box came later, as the starting point, she puts the women of the Greek myths on equal footing with the menfolk. After millennia of stories telling of gods and men, be they Zeus or Agamemnon, Paris or Asidius, Oedipus or Jason, the voices that sing from those pages are those of Hera, Athena, Artemis, Clytemnestra, Jocasta, Eurydice and Penelope. I'm so sorry for all that pronunciation. Greek names are very difficult. That sounds amazing though, I'm definitely adding to cart. I have really been enjoying feminist retellings of Greek myths. Like I said earlier on in this video, I have really been enjoying Stephen Fry's retelling, and I'd like to think that most of his retellings are fairly balanced, although as a man, perhaps not. And a lot of the stories are from the perspective of the men, because I think they're, like that description said, a lot of the stories are often most famously told from the man's point of view. But Ariadne is a really good example of where the author, Jennifer Saint, tried to change the perspective, and it was really interesting reading Heroes, in which Theseus has his own story, and then reading Ariadne and Theseus being part of Ariadne's story. So basically reading the same stories but from two different authors and two different perspectives was really fascinating, because you get a whole different perspective on what actually happened. So yeah, I think this is going to be really good. So adding that one to cart. So I've got two and we are on £20. So I think one more. I think 3 from Queerlit, 3 from Waterstones. That seems balanced. Part of me wants to just find a really unknown book, you know, one I've just not heard anything about, and see, yeah, if I like it. Oh, I added this to my list a little while ago. It's called The Silence That Binds Us by Joanna Ho. And the cover, I'll put it here, was gorgeous. Honestly, that alone brought me into the story, but then I remember reading the blurb and thinking it was really beautiful. Oh, pre-order the paperback. Oh, 2024. Oh, Christ. Okay. I can't wait for that, but I will read you the description. So I think this was a YA book from what I can remember. Okay. Maybelline Chen isn't the Chinese, Taiwanese, American daughter her mother expects her to be. May prefers hoodies over dresses and wants to become a writer. When asked, her mum can't come up with one specific reason for why she's proud of her only daughter. May's beloved brother Danny, on the other hand, has just been admitted to Princeton, but Danny secretly struggles with depression, and when he dies by suicide, May's world is shattered. In the aftermath, racist accusations are hurled against May parents for putting too much pressure on him. May's father tells her to keep her head down. Instead, May challenges these ugly stereotypes through her writing, yet the consequences of speaking out run much deeper than anyone could foresee, and who gets to tell our stories and who gets silenced. It's up to May to take back the narrative. I love that. I feel like that's going to explore so many interesting themes while being just a really interesting book. So yeah, I really do want to read that, but I don't want the hardback, so I'll have to wait till the beginning of next year, so I'll keep you posted. I really should make a list of books I want to read that aren't out in paperback yet, so then I can remember to order them when they are, because I feel like I just forget. They just fall out of my brain. So no to that one, but what else is on my to read list? River Sing Me Home. I do not remember adding this. Let's see what it's about. Oh, again, it's a pre-order in paperback. Oh, this one's out in August though, so I wouldn't have to wait too long. This is by Eleanor Shearer. Rachel is searching for her children, for Mary Grace, Micah, Thomas, Augustus, Cherry Jane and Mercy. These are the 5 who were sold to other plantations, the faces she cannot forget. It is 1834 and the law says her people are now free, but for Rachel, freedom means finding her children. With fear snapping at her heels, Rachel keeps moving, from sunrise to sunset, through the cane fields of Barbados to the forests of British Guyana, then on to Trinidad, up the dangerous river and to the open sea. Only once she knows their stories can she rest, only then can she finally find home. Again, sounds gorgeous, really want it, but don't want it in paperback, so I will be buying that in August, when it comes out, apparently. Anything else? Oh god, there's so much. There is so much. I do feel like I want a translated book on here because I haven't had any yet. Okay, I'm gonna look at my translated shelf on Goodreads. The End of Loneliness. What is this? God, I'm really just taken in by titles and covers. It doesn't take me much to convince me to pick up a book. So what is this translated from? Does it say? I think it's Dutch. Oh no, German, sorry, German. I've known death a long time, but now death knows me. When their idyllic childhood is shattered by the sudden death of their parents, siblings Marty, Liz and Jules are sent to a bleak state boarding school. Once there, the orphans' lives change tracks. Marty throws himself into academic life, Liz is drawn to dark forms of escapism, and Jules transforms from a vivacious child to a withdrawn teenager. The only one who can bring him out of his shell is his mysterious classmate, Alva, who hides a dark past of her own. But despite their obvious love for one another, the two leave school on separate paths. Years later, just as it seems that they can make amends for the time wasted, the past catches up with them, and fate, or chance, will once again alter the course of life. Told through the fractured lives of their siblings, The End of Loneliness is a heartfelt, enriching novel about loss and loneliness, family and love. Sold. I feel like this video has given everybody a very good indication of the kind of books I enjoy reading, or at least think I'm going to enjoy reading. So yeah. To be honest, a lot of books that sort of sound very about the human condition can often be disappointing, because I love a character-driven story. If you get a good character-driven story, I almost prefer it over a plot-driven story, but I think some of them, if the plot isn't really there, then it can ruin a really good character-driven story, just because you do need something to keep you going. You can't just be in someone's mind or reading like a stream of consciousness for like 350 pages or however long the book is. So I do think some novels do fall down on that, but generally speaking I do love character-driven novels, so I think that's why I'm kind of drawn to these ones. And that is also translated, so I'm very happy about that. So yeah, okay, so just to summarise, my basket for Waterstones is The End of Loneliness, Pandora's Jar, and 7 Days in June. I'm very happy with that. And then again, to remind you, Queer Lit is At Certain Points We Touch, The Magic Fish, and Delilah Green Doesn't Care. I'm very happy with that. So now that you've seen me go through and decide what I want to read, hopefully this will now cut to me receiving those books, and I don't know, I might tell you a bit more about them, show you their covers. Who knows? We'll cut to Amy in a week's time. Hello everyone, it is now about a week later. I don't know if I said the date in the first part of this video, but it is now the 27th of May, and so yeah, the Saturday, and I ordered them last Thursday. The Queer Lit ones took a little while to arrive. I mean, it's an independent bookshop, fair enough. So I will start with the Waterstones ones, which arrived earlier this week, and yeah, very happy with them, very happy with the covers. So first off, The Edge of Loneliness by Benedict Wells, which I'm looking forward to, but I am imagining is going to be quite emotional. Then 7 Days in June by Tia Williams, which I've been meaning to read forever, so I'm very, very happy I've finally got a copy of it. And Pandora's Jar by Natalie Haynes, which I have heard very good things, and so I'm very excited. And I'm going to try and read that soon, because I have been reading quite a lot of Greek mythology, so I kind of want it fresh in my mind. So they're kind of the boring ones, because the Queer Lit ones I haven't opened yet, but they are all in these lovely tissue paper wraps, so I wanted to open them on camera because I thought that would be nicer. Also, I'm trying covering my address, but they also in the package sent a little like note with a handwritten thank you, which is so sweet, and it just makes me very happy that I ordered from an independent bookshop, because it's so great to support them, and that is the difference between ordering from somewhere like Waterstones and ordering from an independent place. So yeah, very happy about that. So yeah, all of them are wrapped in like different tissue paper, and they all have the like Queer Lit sticker, which is really cool. So start with this one. And this is Delilah Green Doesn't Care, which I'm very excited for. Ben really, really liked this, and I trust their opinion, so I hope I also like it. And yeah, we'll try and read that soon, because I feel like it's a summery romance, and yeah, looking forward to that. Next is yellow tissue paper, and this one is At Certain Points We Touch by Lauren John Joseph. This is the one that wasn't on the list, but that Jazz has read, and so I'm hoping that I do really enjoy it. It sounds like a bit of me, so yeah, fingers crossed for this one. And finally, They have really coordinated this. I'll just show you again in a second. This is the green tissue paper. It's obviously green tissue paper and a green cover. This is the graphic novel Magic Fish, and oh, it's stunning. I do just love looking at graphic novels. Very excited for that. So yeah, green and green tissue paper. Then at certain points we touch has this yellow on the cover, and that one was wrapped in yellow tissue paper. And then Delilah Green Doesn't Care is like a pinky purple, and it was wrapped in pink. Oh, isn't that just amazing? So yeah, very excited for all of these. I will hopefully, once I've read them, do another video maybe later in the year with an update on whether I enjoyed them once I have read them, to give you yeah, just a bit more of like an in-depth review if they sound like books that you do want to read, so I can try and recommend them with a little bit more knowledge once I know how good they are. I think this has been a very good way to spend my birthday money, and yeah, very happy to support Queer Lit and use my Waterstones points. So all in all, a very good time. Yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please like it and please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!